Welcome to the 6 Miles to Supper podcast. I'm your host, Kayla Cox, and I've lost over 80 pounds with intermittent fasting 6 days a week, eating whatever I wanted at my meals, taking a cheat day every Sunday, and walking 6 miles a day. And I'm here to help you on your weight loss journey. In today's episode, I'm going to tell you what I believe about weight loss. Now, you might be thinking, don't you do that like every week? And that's true. I do. But I thought this might be helpful to kind of give a big picture overview about, what I believe, because what I believe about food and exercise and weight loss informs, everything I do for this podcast and on my YouTube channel and the books that I write. And so a while back, I wrote down this manifesto that I put it on my website, and my intention was that I was going to, make it into maybe a podcast and a video or something, but I never really got around to it. And then a few days ago, one of my insiders, she was on the Discord channel, and she said, maybe this would be a good podcast episode. And I, looked at the manifesto again. I thought, it is. I think it's a good thing to kind of put out there. Chances are you probably listen to many different people when it comes to intermittent fasting. And so I thought it might be helpful to just kind of like go through, what I think and why I do what I do. So here's what I believe about food, eating, fasting, and exercise based on my own 80-pound weight loss journey. Eating is one of the most basic functions of life. Every animal in the animal kingdom knows just instinctively how to eat, how much to eat, what to eat. They don't go around asking other animals what they should be doing. And likewise, I think we humans should do the same. We should just pay attention to our own bodies, how we are feeling, and eat accordingly. And there's a real problem, I think, right now that we have been told often enough and for long enough by the powers that be, whether you want to call that the government or the diet and weight loss industry or online influencers, that we don't know how to eat, that they need to tell us how to eat. And I think that's just wrong. I think we know how to eat and that we can figure it out for ourselves. Next, anyone can lose weight eating whatever they want, provided they do not eat too much. One thing I see as a huge roadblock to weight loss success for most people is they get it in their heads that they must change what they're eating. And, for people who really like, certain kinds of foods, they get it in their head, I like pie or I like chocolate, and so therefore I'll never be able to be at a good weight. And that's just not true. And I really dislike that has become the message, that it has to do with, you're eating, too much, fill in the blank with whatever's popular right now to say that that's the thing that makes you fat. So, right now, the number one bad guy is sugar. And so people get in their heads, well, I like sugar, I have a sweet tooth, therefore I'm doomed to be obese. And that's just not true. You can learn how to eat the right amount of food. And even if all you like is fast food, you can still lose weight. For example, Ben Sasarsky, he lost 8 pounds eating a pint of Ben & Jerry's every single day for a month. John Cisna lost 60 pounds eating McDonald's 3 times a day. Mark Hobb, who is a nutrition professor, lost 27 pounds on the Twinkie diet, and his health markers improved. So if you're the type of person who, you just like the foods you like and you really don't want to change those, I'm here to tell you, you can still lose weight. You don't have to change what you're eating. All you have to do is figure out how to eat less. Eating is not merely about consuming calories. Gathering around a table and sharing a meal with people is a sacred act. It is fun to go get snow cones on a hot summer day. When you are feeling really sad because someone really close to you died and you have a warm chocolate chip cookie, you feel comforted. Ignoring the social and cultural and emotional aspects of food completely is asking for trouble. This goes back to why diets are a bad idea, because a diet can convince you that maybe like a certain food is just so bad for you. And what that can do, and I've seen this happen, is it can alienate you from other people. And you can end up isolating yourself because you get into a certain kind of way of thinking about food, or you sometimes people get scared of being around that kind of food. They will not go to a birthday party because they know that there's going to be cake there. And that may sound like, oh well, that's a disciplined thing to do, but I think that it can be pretty harmful to you because that means you're isolating yourself. And when you're feeling isolated, it's going to be a lot easier to eat for comfort. And so maybe you're not eating those certain foods that are not on your diet, but more than likely you're going to be overeating on whatever food is allowed on your diet. And that's the great thing I found about just learning how to eat all the foods and learning how to lose weight while you're doing it, because then you know that you can go anywhere. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, it does not matter if you go to a party and whatever they're serving, it doesn't matter because you know that you can figure out the right amount to eat. And that just makes your life fuller when you can go and enjoy all these different kinds of situations. Carbs are not the enemy. Overconsumption of food and ingratitude are our real problems. People have been eating bread and pie since the beginning of time. People love sweet things. It's just, we love it. To act like all of a sudden, like, now we're starting to eat sugar and it's a new thing. Sorry, it's not. Like, we've always loved our sweet stuff. So, the things I hear these days, like, oh, sugar's poison, like, I just think it's ridiculous. And I really think the only thing that is unhealthy about any food is if you bring an unhealthy attitude towards it. When you start to be ungrateful for the food, or, you kind of get uppity about certain kinds of food, or you're scared of food, I just think that's all a waste of time. Assuming you don't have some sort of serious medical condition or some severe allergy, fretting over a slice of cake or a piece of pizza or a glass of wine, I think that does a lot more harm to your health than just having the thing and enjoying it with a grateful heart. Fasting is useful for weight loss. Fasting helps us lose weight because it helps us to eat the right amount, but it is not a magic bullet for weight loss. If you fast and then proceed to overeat in your eating window, you're going to gain weight. It's as simple as that. It's not about just being consistent with your fasting window. It's also about learning how to eat the right amount in your eating window. The way fasting can help you do that is because it helps you to become self-disciplined around food. You learn how to tell yourself no. And when you can tell yourself no, you also learn how to tell others no. And this is empowering, and it's really good, not just for weight loss, but just for life in general. Eating mindfully is important. Whenever we sit down to a meal, we should focus on that one task. We should turn off our phones, turn off the TV, put away any work or books we have, and just focus on the task at hand, which is eating. We should try our best to take bites and chew them and do our best to savor the food and to not rush. Scarfing food like a wolverine is bound to lead to weight gain no matter what you happen to be eating. We can't outrun our forks. Ultimately, if we have a weight problem, it's because we're eating too much food. The place we need to focus is how much we're eating. Exercise is great, and high-intensity exercise can be really fun, but it also can increase appetite. Focusing on moving more, while good for your mental health, probably will not move the needle when it comes to weight loss. I speak from experience. Being sedentary is bad for our mental health. Weight loss is a mental game above all. When we feel good, it's easier to stay on plan and to keep going even when the scale is not really cooperating. Keeping our head in that positive space is important. And one of the best ways to keep it there is to be active in some way. The type of activity really doesn't matter. Walking, running, jogging, lifting weights, playing tennis, or just doing some gardening all count. The main thing is that we get up and get off the couch. Ideally, we get outside a little bit each day and remind ourselves that the real world is better than the fake one the social media companies would have us be a prisoner in. Weight loss is simple. We lose weight when we eat less than what our body needs. We gain weight when we eat more food than our body needs. And if we eat just the right amount, we'll maintain our weight. Doubting these laws of science will lead to plateaus and frustration. Daily weighing is a healthy habit when done with the right attitude. Habits are just easier when you do them every day. And so this is not about obsessing over that daily number. Weighing is about holding ourselves accountable so that our weight never sneaks up on us. The number on the scale is not the most important thing. Ultimately, weight loss is really about just getting yourself to that point where you're comfortable in your own skin. Weight loss has a point of diminishing returns, and it's important to stop once you've found it for yourself. Obesity is not a disease. Obesity results from personal daily choices, namely habitual overeating. The now popular notion that obesity is a predestined mysterious condition that a person is helpless to fight against is a load of manure. It's an attempt, I think, to convince 41% of the population that they're weak victims who can't control themselves. Formerly obese people prove that obesity is not a disease. It's both something you can prevent and something you can fix if you find yourself in that place. Every formerly obese person learned how to eat less food and thus lost weight. The story is the same, no matter which success story you look at. Weight regain is not inevitable. The notion that weight loss is pointless because weight regain is inevitable is another popular myth that needs to die. Weight loss maintenance is not mysterious. If we stay in the habits that helped us lose weight, we will keep the weight off. But if we go back to eating how we used to eat, we will absolutely regain the weight. Weight loss is empowering. Successful weight loss, when done with the proper mindset, is empowering. We gain, see what I did there, self-discipline, confidence, zest for life, independence, and freedom. Not only that, our better habits usually spread into other areas of our life, like our finances and our relationships and our spiritual life and our mental health and even our career choices. As we get empowered, we can then take action in all these other areas of our life and everything improves. And for those reasons, in my opinion, weight loss is absolutely worth every bit of effort you put into it. So that's what I believe about all the things related to weight loss. And these are things I think about a lot because, I have this podcast and I have, the videos I do. But just because I believe this doesn't mean that I think you should believe it. I think you should think about these things for yourself and come to your own conclusions. I hope that this has helped you. I hope that you will form your own manifesto based on what you believe. So thank you for joining me in this episode, and I'll see you in the next one. Do you want to lose the weight without getting rid of the foods you love and that you know you'll go back to eating again anyway? My book, The Laid Back Guide to Intermittent Fasting, teaches you how to practice intermittent fasting so that you lose the weight sustainably and keep it off for good. You can get the audiobook read by me for free when you sign up for your 30-day trial of Audible. The link is in the show notes. And if you've gotten value from this podcast and you'd like to let other people know about it, it would be great if you could leave a review on either iTunes or wherever you get your podcast. Thanks.